Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this session.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, I'm Michelle, and I'm the Dean for the Faculty of Business, Finance, and Information Technology. Now, first of all, I would like to thank all of you for joining us and hope that this session will be beneficial to all of us. Now, I would like to introduce today's presenter, Mr. Homam. Mr. Homam is a serial entrepreneur and the founder of CEO of Wonderland Technologies Niran Berhad. He is a sci-fi solution technology provider and the founder of Startup Zone, a Malaysian startup community. Homam was called the Hologram Man, and later he was also known as the AI Evangelist. He is a technopreneur and an innovation expert in sci-fi solutions like 3D, hologram, AI, AR, and multi-touch interactive screens. Homam is very passionate, especially about artificial intelligence, job market, entrepreneurship, and of course, he has delivered many awesome keynote speeches and panel discussion at many conferences and forums. He was awarded iTech 2019 Gold Award for the Best Invention and iTech 2019 Special Award for the Corporate Invention. He is also the NTT.com Startup Challenge finalist and was selected as in 100 Inspirational Icon 2019. So how are you
Thank
today,
you very
Mr.
much.
Homam?
I'm very great. Thanks for asking.
Yeah.
Also, I would like to thank you personally and thank Masa University for this opportunity to talk today and to speak to our viewers.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much for spending your time with us today again. Now, perhaps let's start and could you please give us a very quick info about artificial intelligence?
Okay. Artificial intelligence, many people, when you talk about artificial intelligence or AI, they get scared or think of Terminator. And some people are confused. Is it going to end the humanity or is it going to make our life easier? So there's a lot of confusion about that. But I would say I would say it in very simple way. Artificial intelligence is when the machine or the computer try to mimic the human cognitive skills like problem solving or learning uh, and attempt to do that. But actually, artificial intelligence is nothing new. Actually, the AI or artificial intelligence started back in 1959. So, uh, but why it's the buzzword now? Why everybody talking about it now? Well, AI was in something called AI winter. So what is AI winter? There were a foundation need to be laid out first for the AI to come, to our life. So one of the things is we needed data. We need a lot of data. So previously in the past years, we did not have the access to this amount of data. But now, thanks to social media, thanks to the smart devices we have, we are generating tons of data every second. So that was the first step for AI to come. The second one, if we have a lot of data, we will need processing powers. And the computers were not fast enough in the past. But because of, let's say, things like, gaming and graphic cards, uh, a lot of processing power are produced today and we can process this data. And then we needed, if we need to deal with such a huge amount of data, we will need also data systems that can handle this data. So traditional databases won't be able to handle that. But with the recent developments, we can use big data, we can use NoSQL, we can use a lot of tools which can handle a lot of kind of big data. And then we have connectivity. So if you have smart devices, if you have all of that, we still need IoT. We need those sensors that are placed in different places. We need the smart devices to be connecting to each other, and we need people to be able to generating content. So for that to happen, it has to be done anytime, anywhere. So in the past, people used to use internet, for example, only at home or at office. Now it's wireless. Now we have Wi-Fi. Now we have 4G. We are going to have 5G. So after we laid all this foundation, that's why now we can see the benefit of AI. And now it's just the tip of the iceberg. It's going to, we are at the beginning, and it's going to go even further.
Great. All right. A very interesting introduction. But could you please elaborate further? What is AI, artificial intelligence in marketing, and why is it important? Perhaps you can share your. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So AI in marketing is the way we take the data we have, the customer data, the organization data, and use machine learning and use AI to process that amount of data. So previously, you used to look at some Excel sheets and look at whatever data you have in, let's say, in your company, and try to come up with reports, and you have to think about it and then make decisions, for example, about pricing, about what new feature you want to add to your product. So you used to maybe handle groups, discussion groups, send inquiries to your customer or stakeholders and ask them all these questions. Now in AI for marketing, we can look at all this data and generate reports and make decisions by the machine. So human does not need to be involved, or they can be involved at a minimum phase. So for example, if you want to add a new feature to your product, you can just go to the social media. Of course, there will be a system, so it can look at the social media, for example, see what people talking about, what they are saying about your product, why they're choosing, for example, your competitor, and come up with a decision why we should add this feature, not that feature, and why it is more important for people, and what it's maybe stopping them from making the purchase. So this is where how we can use AI in marketing, and this is also one of the things why it's important. We can get better advertising campaigns, for example, better ROI. And now today, the customers expect, actually, there's a survey done, and actually majority now, I can't remember the number accurately now, but the majority of customers today expect the company or whatever provider they have to know exactly what their requirements and what they're looking for. So now they won't tolerate that anymore. If they see their needs are not being met, if they see the standard they're looking for, or the price, or whatever it is not met, they will switch to the next thing. Because now today's world in marketing and business is very dynamic.
How do we use AI for marketing, and what are the benefits of leveraging artificial intelligence in marketing?
Okay, so we can use it, for example, for sales forecasting. So if you want to know how much, let's say, products you need to produce, or you need to order, or you need to purchase, AI here can come and help you. So it can predict for you, let's say, the next quarter, how many orders you're going to have. It can predict to you, for example, so let's say if you are a subscription company, like telecom or telcos, or insurance, or any other type which you have a monthly or yearly subscription. So based on the data, the AI can know which segment of customers are most likely going to cancel their subscription, or who are and where are they going to switch to. So you can make a decision based on that, and that also can help you. For example, when you want to set up your marketing campaign and you want to choose the target, so you can save a lot of money and time if you know who are the loyal customers and who are not the loyal customers. So you can spend your money there more wisely. So if you know a good a part of this are loyal and they're not going to change their decision, you can maybe do less campaigning. And that's even not now used in politics. So the last American election, AI was very much and data was very much involved. And I think most people heard about, the Cambridge Analytica and the scandal was around that, and how they used the data and how they determine and how they use their resources and direct their resources and get the best outcome from that. So like understanding your customer, for example, as I said before, also forecasting the sales, finding trends. So AI here can see what's going on now in the market, what people are looking for, and another example you can use is for in customer support. Now you can see a lot of companies using chatbots, so they automate that process. They can save time from their human customer support team. So the frequent questions can be handled by the chatbot, and then the more complicated questions or the questions that cannot be handled by by the bot, it can be directed to a human support. And even things like dynamic pricing. So you don't have to, for example, fix the price. It can be dynamic. So now I think most people use Uber or Grab, and you can see that at peak hours, for example, the price change, even if you're traveling the same destination from the same place to the same place. So it can know and change the price depending on the demand, depending on how many cars available. And that can be used in like hotels, in a lot of places where you can either predict the demand or give a real-time dynamic pricing. And there are many examples also, like increasing your ad campaign ROI. Yeah, I think maybe those are some examples. I can't hear you, Ishe.
Indeed, AI is actually has a lot of benefit. You see, we can use AI, all right, to leverage a lot of other methods in marketing. But of course, I'm sure there are there are a lot of challenges for AI in marketing as well. Could you please share with us on this, the challenges for artificial intelligence marketing?
Sure. There are a lot of challenges. I would say there is now a very important topic a lot of people talking about and governments talking about, let's say privacy. So if you are going to use AI in your marketing department, you need to make sure you put some privacy standards. You need to make sure what are the laws in your where you operate. What does it say, for example, about privacy? Because now people are more aware about privacy. It's a controversial topic. Some people say now people don't care about privacy. If it's like give them more security, for example, or cheaper prices, they are tolerating to give more data, or they letting people track them, or companies or brands track them. But you need to be aware of this issue, because it can be a problem later if you don't do it right. Also, from the marketing perspective, AI, what also called machine learning, it need training time, it need data, and also the data quality. It has to be a good data. So, for example, when you use a chatbot, so when you are trying to interact with it, you will notice maybe a few years ago or even now, it depends on how they build the chatbot and how mature it is. You can see it's not really good. It does not always get your answers correctly. And personally, I used to hate it, but I used some chatbots and they were really good and I was impressed by them. But they need time. So the more you train them, the more questions they are asked, the better they get. And many companies jump, for example, into using a chatbot or using AI in, for example, for their customer support, and they don't have enough training data. It's not just, you buy this service from a company or you hire somebody to, if you don't give it enough data and train it, it cannot give you a good result. So you can consider it like it's like a child. So if somebody asks, if it was somebody asking or many people asking the same question, let's say for 100 times, 1,000 times, it will learn, it will memorize. Like when this person asks this question, the answer is like that. So when he asks, where is the ATM, for example, the person, the customer support gives that answer, but he also asks how, where I can withdraw money. So it's different from ATM. So now it can start to relate, and when the answer comes, it's the same. So it will start to understand and relate. So this training data, it's very important, and also the quality of data, because another issue here we can have, or another challenge is AI can be biased. So it depends on the data given to it, it's going to respond according to that data. So if that data was bad data, it's not the AI fault to make the decision. It's the fault. It's the issue, the fault of whoever give it this data and that data sample, or not enough diverse data. So there was an example, even committed by big companies. So for example, like by Google. So before, if you search like a professional hairstylist in the images, let's say, it will show you like 99% of those hairstylists are white people. And if you're like unprofessional hairstylist, it will show you black hairstylist. So maybe depend on some reviews, maybe depend on the data was given to the algorithm or to the AI. This is the result it comes with. So that's why it can be misleading, it can be deceiving if we don't make sure the data quality is good, and if we also don't put standards for that. And then another thing, the marketing landscape is changing a lot. So it's very dynamic. You need to keep adapting to this. So the algorithm need to be adapting and taking care of all the other challenges, so that will be interacting with that. So I would say those are maybe the most important challenges.
It's indeed a lot of challenges. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Mr. Homan, perhaps perhaps you can share with us some tips. All right, how do we start with artificial intelligence marketing?
Okay, sure. So the first thing, I think, and in the most important thing, is to establish goals. So you need to know what do you want to achieve, because the AI alone cannot help you with that. There are unsupervised learning that maybe can discover some trends, that can give you some things that you're not aware of. But when you want to start, you have to ask yourself, what do I want to achieve? For example, do I want to increase my sales? Or do I want, for example, to make sure not many customers cancel their subscription? So to reduce the number of canceled subscription. Or let's say whatever the goals you want, you ask those questions. You set the goals, and then you start from there. Then you start looking at the data that related to, and then you start to design your algorithm and start to generate the reports that are related, and then make the decision or design the system to make the decision based on that. So I would say the number one is establishing the goal. Number two, which is related to the challenges we talked before, is putting data privacy standards. So whenever you are collecting data from your customer, from their transaction, from when they visit your website, when they make a purchase online, you have to make sure there is a standard and or agreement and the customer accept it. And you have to make sure you are not breaking the law. Because like now, let's say in e-commerce, it's very global. So maybe if you are dealing with a customer, for example, from the EU, you are now under GDPR Act. So if you break that act, you can be fined a huge amount of money. So let's say if you are Grab and a European person take a ride, download the app and take a ride. So if he's not from Malaysia or from Singapore, but since he's an EU citizen and he used the app, now you are under that law. The same thing, let's say you have to see if you are, so what you need to be aware of your local laws and international laws. So, and things are changing very fast. And from what I see, is going to only get more strict and more strict. So, because this is governments and NGOs and organizations are aware that it's very dangerous at the same time. If we don't make sure we have, as an organization, a data privacy standards, and also as a government, things can actually go really bad and go to the dark side of AI. And I think another one is you need to acquire the data, the talents that, let's say, the data scientists or the developers or the algorithms designers and all of these talents. So acquiring them is not easy. There's a shortage of them, and like also attracting the best of them is going to be a challenge, and they also can leave your company and go to another place. So that's also something you should look at when you're starting, and also selecting the best AI platform. So now there are so many AI platforms available. You have IBM Watson, for example. You have Google platform. You have Amazon. You have Alibaba. You have there are many of them. So also when you are selecting which AI platform you are going to use, you need to make a proper research about that. For example, in my experience, we did a hologram robot for a client, and when we were testing, we were using one platform, and it was very good, giving very good result. But we were testing it and using it in English. So when we come to add another language, here where we come to a challenge that after a while, after also testing different platform, we find another platform did better when it comes to language. So it can understand other languages. Let's say in the voice recognition, it get much better result than the one we originally did. So we have to restart again because we need to adapt language. So you need to make a proper planning about that. See if they, especially in startups, many of them give free credit. So test most of them and see which one suit you, and plan to scale. So you don't only think about what's today, you think also about, let's say, in 5 years time, in 10 years time, how much data you're going to have, how much customers you are going to have, and you plan ahead in that. So I would say this is where maybe the starting point you can. I can't hear you, Michelle. There is no sound. Sorry.
Yeah, Roman, shall I just respond? Okay. Sorry. My mic is not on. All right. Basically, by looking at what you have explained, All right. So it looks like artificial intelligence is going to take up all the job. Should we be worried about this?
Okay, I would say we should not be really worried, but we should be prepared, because I think for sure AI is going to eliminate some jobs. That's is nothing we can do about it. Some experts say like in 15 years, 50% of the jobs exist today won't be around anymore. But at the same time, new jobs will be generated, and uh, new needs will, and we will need other jobs. The thing is right now we don't know for sure what's going to happen, because let's say if you ask your grandmother, or if you go 50 years back and you tell your grandmother, for example, that your children or grandchildren are going to work as graphic designers, as web developers, as mobile application developer, she will have no idea what are you talking about, and because those jobs didn't exist at that time. And we know through the industrial revolution a lot of jobs uh, are in decline, or they become eliminated. Like let's say the knife sharpener, it used to be maybe long time ago in every corner of the street, but now you don't see that, because most people maybe use now cheaper knives, and now the knives are much cheaper, except those who are really like very special knives or very known brand, then people can send it for special service to maintain. But other for example, so other than that, some profession or some jobs are going to die, and AI can do an enormous and great job, let's say when it comes to doing repetitive tasks. So all I would say all those jobs which are routine jobs, things like cashier, things like you know, I can't, even I think, or maybe not. Sorry, I may be confused. But things like very repetitive tasks like cashier or drivers are going to be in danger, because now we can see like a lot, even in Malaysia or in many countries, we can see like McDonald's or KFC or a lot of outlets now they have touch screen where you can order, so they don't have the cashier anymore. And then you can add to that coronavirus. So when coronavirus came, now we want to even minimize the human interaction even more. So now even hotels, restaurants are going to replace the waiters, or the people who clean the rooms and services like that. So yeah, those jobs are going to be in danger. So but new jobs are going to be created. The problem is those people who will lose their job, like let's say the taxi driver or a driver or a cashier, it's very difficult for them to transit or to learn new skills to go to that job, the new job which is created. So let's say we need a lot of cybersecurity engineers, or somebody to handle cybersecurity for AI, or for some data or some algorithm. The driver is not going to be able that easily, especially if you're talking about a 50-year-old driver. For him to pick a new skill like that is going to be almost impossible. Like, we have to be realistic. So this is the dangers, and where we will see a lot of people who cannot find jobs. So now, how we solve that? How we are not sure. So when the industrial revolution happened, we were in the agricultural time. So then we moved to most people who, due to automation, and most people who lost their job in agriculture, they moved to the city and they work in factories, and then automation and disruption hit again. Then most of these people move to services, so they become, let's say, a bank teller, they become a cashier, they become those jobs. So now industrial revolution, or the fourth industrial revolution, are going to hit the services industry. So after services industry, for us as humans, we don't know what's next. So this is the challenges. This is where governments even don't know now what skills we need to give our education. The solution for that now is very simple. I don't know if it's the right way or no, But I think education institutes like MASA and the Ministry of Education and schools and teachers, they can do something is to teach people how to learn. People now need to be very flexible. So long time ago, like maybe our parents used to work for the same company almost all their life. Maybe they change employer one time. Nowadays, the thing is very dynamic. Now people change jobs every 2 to 3 years, and some people blame them for that. I would say, oh, they just hunting. No, the things now are different. It's not like 20 years ago. It's not like 30 years ago. Now you need to learn new skills to be relative to the industry and to grow. So what the education should do is teach people how to think fast. Now it's not anymore the education is this stone old building, very stable, very rigid. Now it's like a tent. So now, due to technology disruption, due to AI, now many jobs are going to be replaced every 5 to 10 years. So it doesn't matter to pick. You are not going to pick one job for all your life. Like people last time want to be an accountant, want to be a lawyer, want to be a doctor. That's their job for the rest of their life. That they decide that when they are 18. Now every 5 to 10 years they have to become something else. So they need this mind flexibility. The education system needs them to think that way, need them to learn fast, to pick skills fast. To also, I think something very important is the emotional intelligence. Now, AI lack of emotional intelligence, but humans have it. Human can understand maybe sentimental better. Even now, AI, they can understand from looking at your face, you are happy, you are angry, you are sad. Even from the sentence that you wrote on Facebook, they know the sentiment, but they still will be behind. So this is what I would say about jobs.
Thank you to Mr. Homan for your wonderful and beneficial explanation on how AI is the future of marketing. So in other words, I would say, if all of us keep upskilling ourselves, all right, in a different form or format, whether be it a training, a short courses, I think we shouldn't be worried, right?
Yeah, exactly. So now I think even university like Masa, you should not only focus on those students like the undergraduate or this. You should offer more courses, and also the public need to be aware that you should pick up new skills. Like if you become a data scientist, let's say now if you are working in accounting or something and you don't feel it's exciting enough for you or something like that, if you maybe do a course on data science, if you get some skills, actually maybe your income can double or triple or even maybe reach 10x's after a few years of experience. So it's a great opportunity for you to grow. So you should not, like, you think for me that's it, I'm going to lose my job. And now also corona made a lot of people lose their job and lose their income. But I think if you are now stuck in this situation, try to learn new skills. So there are a lot of training centers, and even online now you can do a lot of courses online. They are not that expensive. They still are affordable, relatively affordable, and you can learn at your home. You don't have to go anywhere. You can, even on your commute, you can just on your phone or on a tablet, put your earphone and learn a new skill. And honestly, for me, a lot of things I self-taught I self-taught myself. So I never studied AI. I'm not an AI expert, but I did a project on AI, and I just read books. I read I watched some videos online. I attended some online courses, and I managed to pick it up like in few weeks. So now, and it's not really rocket science. Like if you have a relative background, you can, like, let's say from accounting or from statistics to data, it's very relevant, and a lot of people from those backgrounds now jumping onto data.
Yeah, in fact, in Masla University, we also offer quite a couple of master classes, a series of master classes, which involve data analytics, all right, AI. That's how we train our students. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's great.
Let's have a look at Q&A section from the audience. I have here Divara. Okay. She's asking a question. How can marketeers implement artificial intelligence?
Okay, I think it's similar to the one of the questions you asked me. So you have to first start with your goals. You have to you have to know what you are looking for. So the AI or the data can help you with that. So as I mentioned, you can like look at, for example, do I want to increase my sales, or do I want to make sure less people cancel? So what data you should look at and where you can get this data, and then uh, make the processes which can act on behalf of you. So let's say in a traditional way, what you say, I want to reduce the number of people who cancel my service. So when somebody cancels your service, maybe you pick the phone, you call them, or what happened, uh, what's the problem? You try to understand the problem, and then maybe you say, okay, if you don't cancel, we can offer you a discount. So that's if you have 10 customer, 20 customer, 100 customer. But if you are a mobile operator, and sadly they're still doing that manually, or sometimes they just accept it's a lost opportunity. If you have thousands or 100,000 or millions of customers, you can't be picking the phone to every single one and know why they cancel. So let's say this has happened to me a lot on a lot of online services. Let's say on LinkedIn or on Netflix. Sometimes when I press cancel to my subscription, my premium subscription, they ask me a few questions, and then they offer me, if you don't cancel your service, we will give you 50% discount for the next 3 months. Usually I press okay, I accept, and I don't cancel my service. Then I forget about it, and then it's keep billing me for the next 6 months, 1 year.
A very
God
good
knows
deal,
what.
right? In
Yeah,
fact, it's
yeah.
a very
But
good deal.
you see, the system is designed that way. Nobody need to do a call or anything, and then the offer which is made usually it's based on the data. So those questions they are asking you, and they understanding what the majority of people, or based on your age, or based on your gender, or based on your location, or based on your income, if they try to pursue you in this way, most likely you are going to accept, because is what is marketing in AI is if I want to sum it in one sentence, is just predicting what the next step of your customer. Okay.
Okay.
I hope that maybe answered her question.
Yeah, okay, thank you. There's another questions that saying that what are the biggest challenge in adopting AI? Yeah, we have explained that just now, or perhaps you might choose one. What is the biggest challenge in adopting AI?
I would say data, getting good data, relative data, uh, maybe is the biggest challenge, because you can put a lot of, let's say, rubbish data, and data doesn't make sense, but you have to make sure you are putting the right data, because with the wrong data you can get, people say numbers don't lie, but if you feed the machine wrong data, and it's going to give you, and it's going to give you not what you are looking for. So I would say that this is the biggest challenge.
That's what we call garbage in, garbage out, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah. So I have another question from Miss Tara. So she's asking, what are the available AI platforms today? What sort of
Well,
AI platform? Yeah.
there are a lot of platforms. There is the Google one. You have IBM Watson, which is used a lot, and I have used it a bit. I used the Google one also, maybe less, but I was very impressed by the Google platform. And then you have the Amazon. I would say those are the three main AI platforms today. And the reason, if you think about it, the reason they managed to build this platform, because they have a lot of data. So Amazon have, I don't know how many million of transaction per day, or even maybe per second. They have all this data they could, and they understand. And then if you see the devices they adding to their platform is all about data. So Alexa is listening to you all the time. So this is how they train their data, their algorithms. And this is uh, when you want to pick which platform, you need to see what are your goals, what you want to achieve, and then test it on those platforms and see which one better for you.
Okay. We have another question. Person mentioned that, how will marketing be affected by AI?
I think it will be affected in ways we never imagined. I will give you an example. Let's say you drink Dutch lady milk, for example. So you always buy Dutch lady milk. And now we can see this is happening now, or in the next 5 years or 10 years, everybody, let's assume, they will have smart fridges. Okay? So every time you put your milk, the fridge understand you are a fan of, let's say, Dutch lady milk, and you always buy it on this, and maybe it automate that service for you, so it always order when you are low on milk. This is all standard AI features in the fridge. So when you are low on milk, it make an order, so it get delivered to you, and then you never run out of milk. So now how marketing come? So now imagine the fridge company become the marketing agency. So now it has all this data. It know what people habits, it know what they do, what they buy, how often they buy, all of that. So now suddenly you receive an offer saying, if I know you are a fan of, for example, Dutch lady milk, and you are low on milk, and I should make an order now for you. But how about I order another brand and they giving you 50% discount? So now, for example, this is how marketing can change in the future. Now, it's not a salesperson in the supermarket telling you, "Oh, try our meat, try this sample." Now the fridge telling you that, and maybe let's say you said, "No, I'm loyal to this brand. I don't want you to do that." And then out of the blue, one day you get a free, package to let you try their new milk for free. So just to persuade you, and this is like one example how marketing can be in the future.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Another question here. With the implementation of AI, will it affect the online marketing?
Of course, it's affecting the online marketing. Okay, let's take e-commerce for example. So let's say if I open Lazada, for example, on my phone or on my PC, and you open your Lazada, like last time e-commerce, you open the e-commerce website, it just show you the top selling or whatever they like to promote to you. But now it's not like this anymore. Now my Lazada homepage is different from your Lazada homepage. It's different from Tara Lazada homepage. Why? Because now the whole experience is customized to each person needs, let's say. So based on your the products you browse, based on the products you buy, based on how frequent you buy them, they make all the customization on their platform just to suit you. So this is like just very simple example of how marketing or AI used on the online marketing. And we, for example, another one also like the chatbots. So they're not only now used for customer support. So they are a lot of times used also for marketing or to give you a special offer. So let's say if you notice sometime when you are visiting a website and you scroll about the product, and sometimes you decide I'm not going to buy. So when you move the mouse to the exit, to the close button, suddenly a pop-up come and tell you, oh, 50% use this coupon. This has happened to me a lot. So now this is another way to try to manipulate us and persuade us to buy this product at this time. Because in online marketing, in digital marketing, it's all about, uh, the right now moment. Because if you give people time to think about it, and most likely they're not coming back, or they may see your competitor ads, because now they know you are interested in this product. Now all your competitor targeting you, so they want to close the deal as fast as possible. That's why also when you go to an airline, for example, and you want, or to book a hotel, when you're trying to see like the available tickets and seats and whatever, you can see they show you, for example, two people browsing, or two seats left, for example, or two rooms left, or 10 people browsing this deal. Like they want you to act fast. Most times, actually, there's more than two rooms left, but they're just trying to use that to their advantage and trying to manipulate people that way. So yeah, they are getting very smart, and they have now very smart tools, and now they have
Yes.
also the AI to their side, so they know even now how much resources they should even spend on every lead. Like they know this lead worth investing, this lead worth I send him a free product. This one I don't have to bother about. So people also need to be more aware and more wise when make decisions.
Correct. Okay. I have another interesting question here from Miss
Sure.
Shreto Look. Miss Look, I guess her name. All right.
Yeah.
More AI may mean more impersonal interaction. All right. Because and how to achieve a balance for personalized experience for clients.
Okay, it's a difficult question actually. Like a lot of people still didn't figure it out, and we still trying to figure it out. But okay, let's face it. People now want things faster and cheaper, and to do that, the only way to do that is by automation, and by removing the human from the equation. If you have a human, it's going to be much slower. Like if to me, if I want to buy a product, and that website, that product or that company, they don't let you order online, they want you to call the salesperson, and talk to the salesperson, and you call the salesperson, and that person never pick up. Yeah, the human interaction is nice if it's done right, but from people experience, it's not always that pleasant. So yes, you need to reach that balance, but it's really a tricky situation. Some companies like decide, okay, we are going to go fully online, we not going to have any human, and they will appeal to a certain segment of people. Sometimes you cannot please everybody, and there are companies who will say, no, we will stay traditional. We believe in the human touch. We believe that the people should talk to our salesperson, and we want to close the deal, let's say the human way, and they will appeal to a certain group of people. But if it depends, so it depends on your goal. Where who are your customer? What do you want to achieve? Are you very concerned, let's say, about cutting cost? Are you is your business can be affected, let's say, by coronavirus or whatever diseases will come in the future? So here it's better to minimize the human, so you don't have to shut down, or you can sell online, so you don't need to close down, or your customer cannot infect your stuff, or your stuff cannot infect the customers. So if you are in that direction, you should really focus on automation. If let's say you are a luxury diamond selling diamond, and this is people really they want to go and see the thing for real and talk to someone and understand, and they want to understand very well. So in that line of business, maybe you go more with a human.
So,
I hope I
in
answered that
continuation
question.
of this question, I have Saad here. He mentioned that you think that artificial intelligence will eventually control human beings in the future.
Will it eventually control human being in the future? Okay, let's talk. There's two type of AI. So they are what we call the weak AI and the general AI or the strong AI. So now everything done AI here is mostly is weak AI. What I mean by weak AI is this AI only designed to do one single thing. Okay, so for example, it can order your grocery, or it can generate, it can make a decision to buy a stock or sell a stock on behalf of you, so you don't need to interact with it. That I find difficult to take over humanity. What we should be afraid of, if it can be achieved, is general AI. So general AI means this AI is like a human being. It understands everything. It have all the cognitive skills, and if it happen, it's going to be much smarter than like maybe all of us. So what we do, whether we're going to achieve it, some people say it will take at least 50 years to achieve that. What will happen during these 50 years, nobody knows. Like nobody knows that coronavirus will happen, and it stopped the world completely. So from now to 50 years or 60 years or 40 years, whatever the prediction is, nobody know what can happen in the middle. And we don't know if that thing is going to be bad at the end or is it going to be good. So it is totally new thing. Sometimes I have this prophecy, or I have this thing it scare people, but I really hope one day I can see that, is, for example, to have an AI government. Means the president or the prime minister is not a human being, it's an AI. It's an algorithm, and it get all the data, it understand all what people want, and it know what the economy is at what state, and it will act based on this data and based on facts, not based on populist, I would say. Because nowadays you can see like some politicians come and promise you everything, and people fall for that, and they win the election, and then they cannot deliver. So, and that set back a country like many years ago.
So
Like
there's
also now
another
some use, yeah.
Okay, so there's another question here, again from Ms. Law. She said that, sometimes I find AI makes more difficult to channel complaints, dissatisfaction to the company. How can AI overcome this with no human?
Can you repeat the question? Sometimes
I find AI makes more difficult to channel complaints, dissatisfaction to the company. How can AI overcome this with no human?
with no human. Well, it depends on what AI here, but of course AI learn, and part of AI, or now most AI we are using is called machine learning actually. So the machine should learn, and if it designed properly, it should learn from the experiences or the data or whatever happening to them. And so, for example, if there's somebody making a complaint and the AI answer a question, usually they put a button where you rate that answer, for example, for 5-star, or was it helpful? You see Google do this a lot. Was it helpful? They give you thumbs up or thumbs down. So when people give that feedback, it can start to learn from that I was helpful to this inquiry or I was not helpful. But actually AI, sometimes it can be tricked, because sometimes it cannot understand this, let's say, the sentimental of what people are trying to express. even us humans, sometimes when you receive a text from a person, because there's no, you can't see their face, you can't hear their tone, you don't have all these other what we call non-body non-verbal language or the body language. Sometimes you think, oh, this person is angry at me. It's like their message is, I said, well, maybe in reality they just asking a simple question, like, and they are happy. Actually, they're not angry or anything. So sometimes AI can fall into that. So let's say if somebody making a sarcastic comment, it can take it as positive when it is negative. But by time I see a lot of AI getting smarter and start to understand the sentiment. In fact, I think in Mimos, they were showing example, like they taking some reviews done by Ministry of Tourism in Malaysia, and they start to categorize all these reviews about which one positive and which one negative. And then the professor there showed that some of those comments were actually sarcastic. Like if you just read it without understanding the sarcasm behind it, actually it is you can take it as positive, but actually it was negative. But the AI managed to understand from reading a lot of sarcastic comments, and think it start to understand and recognize the sarcastic sentences like this. So to answer Luke's question here, it's a bit difficult until I know the exact parameters and the exact situation why it's or sometimes more difficult than human. But I would say for humans, we get the body language, we understand the tone better maybe than AI at the moment. There's no sound.
Thank you so much. Let's take the final question here.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
Can you hear me now?
No,
okay, let's take the final question now. What is the role of data scientists with AI around?
So, yeah. Okay, the data scientists, they are the person who need to look at the data and massage the data and see what data are useful, what data are not, where to get all the data. So they need to work with the programmers very closely to be able to achieve the goal of achieve the marketing goal. So they are the linking point between reaching the result we want and between the data we have or the data we should source. And they have to design all the models, all the data. So I would say it's a very critical role and maybe the most important role in
All right. Thank you, Mr. Homan. Thank you so much for your interesting sharing session. Now, we actually have quite a couple of questions here, but I think due to the time constraint, we will fit back to the respective comments here in a later stage. Maybe I can just email them personally to you.
Yeah.
Perhaps you can look at it. Yeah. All right.
Sure, I will be glad. Just email them to me, and I will try to answer them maybe as soon as possible.
All right. Yeah. Thank you so much for spending the time with us today. It's indeed, we are really appreciate for your kind spending your time here. Thank you so much. Do you have anything to tell the audience now?
First, I want to thank you. Thank you very much, Ms. Michelle, and thanks, Masa, for this opportunity for me to be able to talk to you today. And I hope I managed to maybe help you in some way in AI. As I said, I'm not an AI expert. I'm what I call myself an AI evangelist. Like AI is something I'm passionate about and I believe in, and I think it's going to change the world. So I hope I helped today. I answered some questions and I give people a better understanding on how to use AI in marketing. And I'm looking forward if maybe there's any new sessions like this to talk about this or to talk to the student. I would be very glad to help with that.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Homan. See you. All right. Take care. All right.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.